How does technology affect our daily lives and interactions? And what role does design play in making it more humane and delightful? Today, we're in conversation with Clara Gaggero Westaway, co-founder and creative director of Special Projects. Recently celebrating its 10th anniversary, the London-based design and innovation studio is known for its work in humanising technology, creating experiences that prioritise user-friendliness and satisfaction. Clara's expertise has guided Special Projects in partnerships with some of the biggest names in tech and research, like Samsung, Google, and King's College London, turning complex tech challenges into accessible solutions. From digital therapy tools for individuals with psychosis to enhancing smartphone usability for older people, her work exemplifies the power of empathetic design. But what does it all mean? We asked Clara about the intricacies of creating technology that's helpful and not intrusive, the challenges and surprises of designing for a global audience, and the future trends she sees shaping the industry. We'll also take a closer look at her creative process, how her educational roles influence her professional practice, and how she and her team tackle the ethics of technology and design. In this episode, Clara also shares how she sees everyday frustrations as opportunities and how drawing on them can create those warm, fuzzy feelings she loves so much. This conversation lies at the fascinating intersection of creativity, technology, and human-centric design with one of the industry's leading voices. This season is proudly sponsored by MPB, the world's largest platform for buying, selling, and trading used photo and video equipment. Whether you're upgrading your gear or streamlining your collection, MPB offers straightforward transactions with instant quotes, free shipping, and speedy payments. Visit mpb.com to explore their wide range of camera essentials today. So we're here today and we're going to talk about the beauty of design and turning those pesky frustrations into delight. I love that, Clara. Delight. Tell us more. What's this all about?
Oh, well, thank you, Katie, for inviting me. This is great to be here today. Turning frustration into delight, I feel, is the core mission of designers and innovators. I feel that for too many years, design has been misunderstood as, like just the part of designing or designing the color, choosing a color, choosing a texture, choosing a shape. But design is much more than that and is really turning frustration into moments of delight. So really create powerful customer or user experiences, how we like to call it, and really think of how people experience products and services and make sure that that their experience is like magical and frictionless and delightful.
Yeah, fixing those problems that, I expect is just so satisfying when you kind of like sit together around the meeting table or wherever. You might go to a local park and say, right, how can we fix this problem for this client?
Exactly.
So good.
It's very good.
What motivated you and your husband to start this studio then back in 2014?
Well, that's a very good question. Like Adrian and I met at the Royal College of Art. There is a course that at the time was called Innovation Design Engineering, and is a wonderful melting pot of designers, engineers, inventors. So you come from different walks of life. We even had someone that worked in finance, that was a journalist. And you basically, are closed into a room for 2 years and you learn to become an inventor. So you leave the course as an inventor, which is a wonderful profession. You literally get to invent the future, invent new projects, new products, and new services. So when we left the RCA, we didn't really have a clear plan, but we wanted to continue doing that because we felt that was our calling in a way. And so very naturally and very organically, we sort of started working together on projects with other two fellow students, fellow graduates from the course. And we formed our first studio called Vitamins which was, very, very similar to special projects. Then we received a sort of trademark dispute. And so from vitamins to... Yeah, well, that's a funny story because we were called vitamins, but no one knows how we chose the name. It was, fast and furious years. So yes.
Yeah, gotta bet.
And of course we didn't trademark because we were punk. Just, recent graduates.
Feeling around in the dark, as you do when you start out.
Exactly. And so we learned it the hard way. But, of course, it was actually a good moment. So we went separate ways with the other founders that wanted to concentrate more on sort of product development, and we wanted to stay, let's say, upstream in the innovation and concept creation. So it was a positive experience at the end, and that happened exactly 10 years ago. And then since then, Special Projects has been, going from strength to strength, from adventure to adventure, at least. And here we are, still inventing.
And still surviving and thriving. I mean, you've gone through, 3 recessions, a pandemic.
Yeah.
How on earth have you and your husband coped? I mean, you've kept going.
Yeah, I had to write a little speech for our 10-year celebration. We had a party here at the studio with pizza, magic, champagne. It was fun. But I had to write a little speech, and I was literally reflecting on what you just said. How do we go through those times? And we were very lucky. They say to raise a child, you need a village. Definitely to raise a company, you need a metropolis. And London has been very, very kind to us. We had lots of support, first and foremost from the RCA, Innovation RCA, and then fellow design agency owners. Is a very nice pond, the innovation pond in London. And also, our staff members have been amazing. They are like a family. Some of them have been with us for 9 years, 7 years. So the team is probably number one reason why we're still here today. And the metropolis is number 2.
Yeah, it helps to be in London, definitely. You're surrounded by so many great things and so many great people. It's definitely a hub.
Yes, 100%.
It's a great place to... Yeah, I'm jealous. So you've emphasized humanizing design and technology in your work and everything you do. I mean, how do you approach things differently to ensure, technology, for example, feels more approachable and, as you put it, delightful?
So when we started working with technology 15 years ago, the landscape was so different. One of the first projects we did was aiming at explaining to older people or less tech-savvy people all the potential of a mobile phone, like a smartphone, it was called back then. Now we're doing a lot of work on enabling people to have a healthier relationship with technology, so often using it less, parking it away.
It's one extreme to the other.
Yes. And, we have seen even the etiquette of people around technology change. In the past, having your phone on the table during a dinner or a meeting was very unpolite, and now is, almost normal. So we have seen a big shift in the relationship in between humans and technology, but we believe that the human-to-human relationship is the most important thing, and technology should just be an enabler or a supporter of that. So we constantly try and be inspired by the analog world or what was happening before, and try to understand if technology can help us do that better, either faster or more in a more meaningful way, or help us maybe record or help us communicate more. Well, we were very inspired. We are always very inspired by this paper that was written many years ago at Xerox PARC. It's called Calm Technology, and encourages people to design so that technology is taking a sort of back seat. So it works in the background. You almost don't realize it's there, but is enabling you to have a better life, a better communication, a better interaction with other people. And so we try to keep that very clear in our mind, and we go back to it to ensure that what we create are technologies that are more human or that enable a better life.
So when you say you've seen things change, I mean, obviously we see it with our own experiences in life, but I presume you do a hell of a lot of research and really sort of get into the nitty-gritty of culture and consumer behavior, which is probably just divine and so fascinating. And I would really enjoy that myself personally. From what you're seeing, are you seeing that technology in that case is kind of taking over a little bit too much? Are people realizing that they're looking at their screens a little bit more than they should? Are they fatigued by the digital world that we now live in and consume on a second-by-second basis?
Yes. I mean, the short answer is yes. So we do lots of research with consumers, or again, we call them users. It's a fascinating part of our work, and we encourage our clients to spend literally 1/3 of the time investigating the problem or the opportunity, rather than simply accepting that they know it already, or feeling that they know it already. So we have been in a lot of different situations with different people, like from snowboarding, being on the slopes with pro snowboarders, all the way to operating theater with surgeons, in care homes with older people, like literally theme parks with children. Like, research is taking us in many, many places. And when we look at technology, as I said, we've seen a huge shift from and I think now we're seeing almost the curve coming back. So we've seen people like struggling to use technology and sort of embed technology in their life, and then embracing it fully to the point that technology has invaded our life almost too much. And now I feel people are trying to find a balance. So as you know, in the media, there is a lot of talk about when is the appropriate age to access smartphones? When is the appropriate age to use, the internet at large? And we're asking ourselves this question. Unfortunately, some of the generation that are alive today are experiencing a very unregulated moment. But I know that there is a lot of work going on to make sure that technology doesn't take over or make us live a worse version of life. But that's sometimes I think the industry takes a second to react, and of course there are a lot of economical interest. So even if the need of reshaping the relationship with technology is very clear, only a few pioneering companies are sort of moving in that direction. Some are still trying to squeeze as much as they can out of consumers. So hopefully this will change.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. And I think a lot of other things are changing as well, aren't they? Like, I feel like social media might be sort of slowly on its way out, and something else is going to come along. What that might be, I don't know. Or maybe a different version of social media. I mean, Instagram's definitely on its way out, isn't it? And Meta's refocusing its efforts on the metaverse and AI. It's such an interesting time to be alive.
Well, it is, isn't it? Because there is so much that has changed in our lifetime. Sometimes it's overwhelming, right? The pace of change is insane. But it's definitely an interesting time to be alive. And now we have the whole AI discussion that, as you mentioned, is it has started and scares. It has scares some people out. It's quite scary. It's quite full of potential on the other side.
Yes, yeah. If we can sort of see them as tools and get them, use them right, and as long as they're, I quite like the idea of using something that's purely learns what you do and then kind of helps you be more efficient. And obviously that's already there, it exists. Whether that's kind of trained on copyrighted material, I don't know, but it's there, it's happening. I mean, this podcast, I can edit the whole thing with AI if I wanted to. I don't. I use a human. He's called James. He's marvelous. But it must be a kind of conversation that you constantly have with your husband. Do you do that over dinner? Can you sort of put down work, or are you always, oh my God, did you read this on Hacker News?
Well, I think, articles are allowed. We have a very strict routine, so we don't speak about work after 7 on a weekday and at weekends. In the past, we had a geographical point when we were crossing, when we were going from Fournier Street to Brick Lane. That corner was the last moment in which we could speak about work, to the point that we would maybe stop, finish a couple of sentences, and then continue walking, because we needed to finish that what we were talking about. But we try and be a bit strict, because I mean, this job is also our passion, so it's sometimes can take over. We need to remember we have a family as well.
It's true. It's true. Well, I mean, it's how it goes, isn't it? People who are successful in business tends to be their, a huge chunk of their life. I think that's why you make it so successful. Yeah. If you love what you do, it's not really a job, right? Yeah.
Well, as I said, is a passion, and yes, is sometimes consuming. Also, I feel when we went to university, the ethos was, work hard, play hard. So there was no awareness of mental health or boundaries. So we weren't trained.
Yeah. We kind of just cracked on, didn't we?
Yeah.
We were kind of that generation of, overworkers, burning ourselves out on multiple occasions, but cracking on because we just love the work so much. But what are you currently excited about then, Clara? What's really kind of like sparking you up inside? Oh, that's good. I can't wait to dip into that and do something on that specific thing.
There are a few things really. So we're doing a lot of work in the wellness, well-being, let's say well-being sector. So we are developing an app with the NHS and King's College that is called Slomo, and is a companion app for patients with psychosis that are going through therapy with a human. So we're not substituting them, but the app helps them in between sessions. We've done an IVF app that helps people, let's say, holistically during the process. So over the year, we've done a lot of well-being / sometimes medical apps. And I feel now we're actually working on a new type of sort of dynamic meditation and finding the best way to present it to the public. But what I find quite interesting is the concept of social health, which is something that a lot of well-being apps are not touching on. And so in general, sort of mental well-being seems to be something that is perceived as something you do alone, like you go and meditate, or you go and do a yoga lesson, or you go for a walk. And almost the sort of health of your social connection is not as valued as it should. And there is this wonderful research by Professor Robin Dunbar, and a wonderful book in which we are also featured, which is called The Social Brain, by Robin Dunbar, Tracy Camilleri, and Sam Rocky. And that book explains how important is the social health, how healthy your social life is. And I think that's an aspect that has not yet been explored or productized, let's say. So, of course, Robin Dunbar has done a lot of work on it. But how can we get it out to the people? So that's first zone of excitement, first topic. And then the other one is digital sustainability. So we have, we've spoken, we hear a lot about sustainability when designing products, and sustainability, which is like based on materials choice or how you can dispose of them. But there is very little discussion on digital sustainability and how might we design interfaces or websites or app to maximize or to minimize their environmental impact. And that I find it quite, again, a new frontier, like a topic that I'd like to explore more, and I like to put in practice in the next projects.
It's fascinating. Going back to what you did for King's College London for psychosis patients, how did you apply your design principles to address like what is essentially such a sensitive thing, such sensitive needs?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I think, so working with the psychologist at King's College was actually really easy, because our principles are really creating, empathy and relevance in the project that we do. So, of course, working with people that are clearly extremely well trained in understanding people and knowing what is relevant to them was a wonderful, not only partnership, but also source of information. Maybe what we brought to the table that wasn't there in the first iteration. So the first iteration was done with the Helen Hamlin Centre at the Royal College of Art. And that created the base for us to develop the app and turn it into a more developed product that could then allow the NHS to access a huge, amazing funding opportunity from the Wellcome Trust. So we were already set up very well. The partners were there. What we brought in that was different onto the table was maybe the element of magic and the element of delightfulness, which sometimes is hard to bring in or to justify when you work on a medical device. But we feel that if an app or a product is delightful to use and make you feel empowered, that's the sort of delight or fuzzy feeling we were talking about. It needs to be appropriate for the moment. Like, we didn't insert magic tricks into the app, but we created an app that feels very, very understanding and very, very magical. So you interact with bubbles that are your negative thoughts on the app. And you sort of manipulate this bubble to express how you're feeling. And then you also have safe thoughts bubble that you use to calm yourself. And then, even just that interaction is not just a simple text-based interaction, but it's quite a tactile, lightweight interaction that also, hopefully, and clinical trials seems to confirm that, help people in those moments of stress to feel slightly more alleviated. And then, of course, the graphic was meant to be very appealing for the target audience, which is, of course, very varied, but most of the time maybe is not, let me say, an audience that would read The Guardian, but is slightly more interested in sort of pop culture. So the app feels quite pop rather than a medical app that is there to correct you. It feels more like a companion that is there with you to help you in those tricky moments.
So clever, so interesting. I can imagine the meetings you had, going through it all and making sure the journey, the user journey, I suppose you call it, flows. Oh, look at me, I could get a job at Special Projects.
Here we go.
So you purely sort of working in sort of design then in terms of tech. You've never been tempted to go down the product route?
I come from the product route. So my first degree was in industrial design, which in Italy is very much like product design, let me say. Well, we sometimes... I feel that the most successful project that we do have a digital and physical product, and because we're very versed in designing for both, we don't create them in silo. And so the sort of digital complements the physical. I think the reason why, it's a good question. The reason why we have more tech example recently, and we're not focusing only on product, is that I think is that the digital is very. It could grow exponentially, right? You don't need to make a product, ship a product, stock a product. So there is probably a lot of those startups and projects coming our way. And probably because we're quite unusual in the way we treat technology, we attract a lot of companies that want to be disruptive in the way they present technology to people. So they are, they're creating human technology or like kind and polite apps rather than app that want to like suck all the life out of it. Like we never measure success in the amount of time spent on the app, but it's more like, was the app helpful to reach, to help you reach what you want to reach? So we try to create different metrics, and we attract companies that are interested in that, which is probably more disruptive and more unusual than what we would do on the product design perspective. Also in London, there are so many good product design companies, which,
Oh, yes. Gosh, yeah. You're working in a space that, is more suited for what you want to do. So you'd never work for a gambling company?
No, never.
Help them get more money out of people?
Never. So actually, very recently, we had to turn down a project exactly with that, and it's
not surprised.
Yeah, it's always hard to turn down projects, mainly because they might come from a relationship or a recommendation from a past client. So you always feel a bit bad. But no, we have our boundaries. We're also B Corp.
Yes.
So that
excellent,
officially limits us, but also I think we would have said no anyway. So we became a B Corp because we believe in that, rather than the other way around. So
we'll go to heaven. We might not get up, we might not be able to retire soon, but
Oh my God,
we'll definitely go to heaven.
I love that. I should, that's so great.
Showing my Catholic upbringing there. Oh.
Nice.
Anyway, moving swiftly on. Speaking of philosophy and ethics, I mean, you are an advocate for creating considerate and humane technology, which I love. But what are the common sort of pitfalls that tech companies tend to fall into, and how can they, I suppose, better align their products with what we need out there and for our well-being? I mean, if you've been working in that space.
Yes. There is, let me say, one simple answer, which I can expand on a lot. But in a nutshell, I think they are the metrics that they use to evaluate success. So if you evaluate success with easy metrics, which are the sort of traditional metrics of how much time did the user spend on our app, or how many app or platform, or how many, viewers we had on them. And, there are metrics that are important, and there are quantifiable metrics that are important and we need to keep. But companies that collaborate with us are always open to add or change slightly their metrics to make sure that the brand becomes more of a companion and supporter for the user rather than a rinser, as I said, because you want to have, imagine if I always tell these to our collaborators. Imagine you meet someone and, you want to become friends and they're interesting, and then you realize that all they want from you is all your attention, all your time. They don't want you to go away. It would feel very annoying and extremely egoistical. Well, imagine
you definitely ghost them.
Exactly, you ghost them. Exactly, you abandon. After a bit, you abandon them. You understand your relationship is toxic, and you walk away. Imagine
Yes.
instead you meet someone and they're there when you need, they might propose some stuff,
Yes.
they help you achieve what you want to achieve. There is a sort of positive relationship. You might spend less time with them in the first month, but you will continue to see them and to have a relationship.
Exactly.
And I think when you
Clever.
see your product or service in that light, almost, as a person, then you understand how you should, what are the metrics of success that apply to your product, and that they might not all be these sort of traditional quantifiable metrics, but you might want to add some unquantifiable metrics, like is the user or the consumer happy? Did they achieve what they were looking for? How do they feel about the brand? So those softer, unquantifiable aspects of life are always good to be considered if you want to create meaningful innovation.
This podcast is proudly brought to you by MPB, the largest global platform for buying, selling and trading used photo and video kit. Every week, we'll be chatting with photographer and MPB ambassador Ian to gather some tips and advice for all you photography enthusiasts out there. What are we looking at this week, Ian?
So this week, we have another age-old question, is how important is resolution? So I'm not going to lie, this is one of the trickiest questions to answer. Resolution is simultaneously important and unimportant. A bigger number always sounds like it's better, but with that number come problems. So storage space on your editing computer or your hard drives, as well as processing speeds for all that extra data. So the question is, do you need 60 megapixels over 24 megapixels? A camera I shot with, which I fell in love with, was the old Epson RD1 from 2004. It produces gorgeous, contrasty images, has a Leica mount as standard. However, it's only 6 megapixels. So think about your needs. Will you be printing or mainly sharing images online? Do you require a lot of detail for your work? Cropping is one advantage. A 60 megapixel sensor has a lot of wiggle room in post for cropping, which allows you to carry less lenses. The benefits are there, but extra megapixels are not the answer to your prayers necessarily.
Thanks, Ian. That's really helpful. If you'd like to find out more about anything Ian discussed today, visit mpb.com. And now, back to our episode. When clients come to you, are they quite savvy? Are they aware of what you can do, or is it that there's only a part of it? They kind of know what you do, and they know they need help, but they kind of need things explaining to them, and you kind of surprise and delight them, I guess, and say, well, actually, this is how we can help, and have you considered this? And or are they quite with it?
It's a very good question, and I think there is. We need to become better and better at explaining what we do and at explaining what we do differently from other companies that work slightly more with the sort of off-the-shelf method. We were having exactly this discussion with Imperial College, again, regarding an app, and I feel the client there knew we would do an app that is not like a classical app, but is a an experience that is tailored, digital experience that is tailored on user needs. So we need to up our game. But to answer your question, I feel our clients always have a common trait, that is they understand that they want to do something different from the mainstream. They are sort of brave. Some of them are extremely literate in what we do, because sort of big companies have departments that do exactly what we do. So they know what it is and they know what they want. Startups or smaller company might need a little bit more explaining, and if you want, education at the beginning to communicate, to help them understand what are the stages and why do we involve end user and why do we involve just 6 end user, not 200, and what is qualitative research versus quantitative research, what is an insight, how do ideas are based on insights. But again, I think they have in them that interest in being user-centered and planet-centered. So once the interest is there, and once we share the same values, Then the rest is just, a methodology that we need to explain, which, is our duty and our work to do.
I can imagine. Well, I'm presuming, but I can imagine the website that you have has gone through many iterations in terms of copy.
Oh man,
how you explain yourself is just and you'll be walking home and you'll have not got to that corner and you'll be going, oh, got it. Yes. And then it goes.
Yes. Well, we're going through another iteration right now. It's a constant, but I think I have to accept. I'm a finisher. I like to finish things and know that they're a good. And I think I need to accept that the website is not in that bucket. Like the website will always learn how to communicate these, and therefore will always improve.
I think it's part of the fun. It's part of the process of running a business, because you're not just solving and creating delight with your clients. You're also doing it for yourself, because you're constantly growing, you're constantly learning, reading books, devouring research. It must just be so satisfying for a smart person like yourself.
Thank you, Katie.
Never get bored.
Oh no, it's a wonderful job. Like, honestly, I sometimes have to pinch myself. Like the fact that I can explore different topics and, again, help people turn frustration into a moment of delight. Learn about these amazing invention, problems, topic, and not one day of my life is the same as another. I'm really, really grateful. It's an amazing place to be. So yes, I think that being an inventor is a wonderful, wonderful life.
Have you got a garage at home that's got like a covered car, and there's you've got a dog called Einstein, and you're sort of not around. You've got got contraptions all over the place. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm referring to.
Yes. You'll be surprised though. I think because I wish. So the answer is I wish.
Yes, it's a great film.
The reality is that because we work so much in the future, and because our life is really stimulated, we have a lot of stimulus all the time. Our living environment and our studio tend to be very calm and very it's like a Danish house.
Beautiful.
Quite muted and quite calm. And I feel it's more of an environment that allows you to be creative rather than sort of stimulating. It almost allows you to go into that space of focus and, calm. So then you can think.
That's great.
But yes, I was very tempted to get the Nike, that will the sort of auto.
Same,
strap.
That would have been amazing. Yeah. Are you sure you weren't the ones who invented that amazing thing that was on the DeLorean? The where he puts the rubbish and the rotten bananas in, and then that acts as fuel. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Biofuel.
Someone, please hurry up and invent that. That would
Yes.
solve a multitude of problems. Although I don't know whether burning rubbish would be good for them. Anyway, we'll move swiftly on. But going back to the clients, do they come to you when they've tried everything else and it hasn't worked, and so that they're at that point of the process, or do they come much earlier on?
Again, there is a mix. So definitely there is a big percentage that come to us when they feel they've been stuck on a problem for a while, and maybe the internal team doesn't feel has the right resources or the right time to tackle it properly. So often we get what we call sort of the stuck, and so we get called to unstuck people.
Nice.
Which is wonderful, and also those are the projects and we collaborate maybe slightly more closely with the team. Mm-hmm. Other times, again, when we work with startups, they might just have an intuition. Mm-hmm. So often we get also from big company like a 3 words brief. They might not have been stuck with it, but they have maybe a new technology. They don't know how that could be relevant to people. Or a startup might have an intuition because of a personal experience. Startup founder often have a sort of personal experience that has motivated them to start the journey. So it's a mix. It's a mix. Definitely, there is a big part, maybe 40%, is trying to unstuck people,
Yes.
and then 60% is exploring a new opportunity or frustration that someone is feeling but doesn't know how to ground it in research, how to take it to the next level, how to create a minimum viable product, or how to present a new concept in a way that will secure more funding. So, yeah.
Here's a curious question. Who's easier to work with, the startups or the bigger brands that are more established and have got more of a kind of, load of chiefs?
Yeah. I have to tell you, we have always been very lucky. All our clients share that bravery and interest and openness.
You've been media trained. You're not telling me the truth. That's great.
I've been lucky. I think it's always down to the individual. It's always down to the individual. So we had wonderful experience with startups, which we are still very, we became friends with founders because, of course, you share some interesting moments together. And we had wonderful working relationship with super large companies. So I have to say, with both.
You get on with everyone. Wow. But actually, I'll maybe come down and take you out for lunch, and then I'll get the...
Yeah, no. But I feel, Katie, it's part of the process. So I often hear designer complaining about their client, and I always think that maybe there is an opportunity there to look at how you communicate, how we as designer communicate our idea or our process to our clients. I feel that if you are able to communicate the process and then also the reason why you're proposing a certain idea, then it's not your opinion against their opinion, but is almost something that you've built together. So when we do research, we really sort of document it and we really try and analyze it. And then the ideas come from that. So they're rooted in research. So we have very clear pointers and very clear reason why we're saying certain things. So it's never, it's never my genius ideas against their opinion. It's always there are always a reason behind, there are always evidence. So there is, I think the relationship then is sort of easy because, if we explain correctly the reason behind our choices, then there is no misunderstanding.
Exactly. And the relationships, aren't they? You've got to kind of nurture them. And you, like you say, I bet you do become very close to some of them. But you've done a TED talk on turning frustrations into delight. I bet that was fun. Wait, I bet the whole prep for that took a while because I guess you're talking to people who aren't necessarily in the space that you work. So it's humanizing what you do and explaining it in a way that's not, patronizing or anything like that, but actually saying this is how we work and this is the difference we make. Was it fun? Was it a nice process or were you pulling your hair out?
No. It is, it's I love the expression, humanizing your work. You're right. I was really conscious. I wanted to make sure it was very accessible for everyone. And also I felt like I really needed to take away these limited understanding that people have of the design profession. Again, taking it away from merely aesthetic decision to more user experience, mission. So it was a process of almost clarifying in my head, taking away all the jargon that you learn in your studies and really trying and get to the essence of what is that we do on a daily basis and how we do it. But I think frustration is something that everyone can relate to. Everyone has a frustration, small or big, or multiple frustrations. And I think reframing them as opportunities and almost being curious. When you feel frustrated about something, if you look at it with curiosity and you try and solve it, you're up for a treat. You are innovating. While if instead you look at a frustration and you just shut down and then you're just going to live with that frustration forever and pass it on.
Exactly.
So there are really opportunities in disguise. If we reframe it like that, the world will be full of innovation.
Absolutely, and better relationships and better people. After the TED Talk, did it result in a website copy rewrite?
Oh, of course. Oh God,
brilliant! Love it.
Yeah,
that's how my brain works as well. I love it. Yeah. And you've also you're a regular speaker at the Royal College of Arts as well, yes. And you sort of do various things with the Oxford Strategic Leadership Programme. Mm-hmm. How do these roles influence your work in design and innovation? Because I presume they have a big impact.
Massively. So they influence in very different ways. So being involved with the RCA, with the Royal College of Art, is something that I love doing, and I've been involved in the product design, in innovation design engineering, and textiles department, which is a bit random, but they do a future module, so I'm involved with that. And I think I always learn when I go there. I, of course, do tutorials and try to help students to sort of progress with their work, and I sort of show them what we have learned in our practice. But I feel like I always learn something from them. Is incredible to see, what are the new things people decide to focus 1 year of their life on. What is the frustration they're trying to solve? I find that fascinating. Being involved, and also there are some news coming your way. I think in a couple of months we have something new that we're going to do with the RCA, which is very exciting, and I'm gonna let you know as soon as I can talk about it.
Fabulous! Can't wait.
Working with Oxford Said Business School and the Oxford Strategic Leadership Programme has been very different. So you have to imagine that you don't have sort of creative students in their master, but you have executives that are traveling from all over the world, coming to the course, paying more than £10,000 for a week in Oxford. So it's a very different audience. They come from all types of industries, some that I approve more than others. So we have from oil to medical, to charities, to sort of consumer goods. So it's very, very broad. And when sharing with them design, sort of, let me call it design thinking, but sort of a design approach to innovation, or sort of creative thinking, I really had to again, simplify and make the message more applicable to different fields. And I also had to really understand how to make my case that design is not a frivolous thing, that creativity is not that little frivolous thing, the little workshop-y thing you just do, and really express to them that reframing frustration and seeing them as a moment of opportunity is actually beneficial to a business, and it will actually bring, happier customer, happier team, more income. So I had to, I guess, take a more commercial, or express a more commercial proof to what I share than in a design school where no one questions it, and everyone is happy to create. I had to justify that creation and innovation are useful and financially viable. Absolutely.
Does that result in any new clients?
Yes. Actually, it's interesting because there are some people that literally have a penny drop moment, and then they want to work with us later.
Great.
Also, these are extremely interesting individuals that are there trying to sort of change and evolve. So they are all amazing people, and the tutors and the professors, literally, every time I go, even if I stay just one day, sometimes I stay the whole week and sometimes I stay one day, but even if I stay one day, I come home always refreshed, energized. It's like an amazing like brain massage to be there.
I bet. Yeah, because they'll have got value from your insights, but you'll have got value from theirs. And it's just seeing what their struggles are probably then informs what you do for your existing clients as well. So
yes.
What a great thing to do on a regular basis. So I can't not ask you, in the kind of, realm that you're in, I can't not ask you what's next. What trends or technologies do you think will probably make most impact in the next decade? Or am I just sort of asking a ridiculous question?
Oh, no, nothing is ridiculous. I wish, reading the future line right now is complicated, right? Because the pace of change, as we mentioned, is so fast. We know that AI is here to stay, so I'm really curious to see how we manage it and how we use it to our advantage rather than sort of disadvantage. And it's a very critical, I guess, moment to define that. Again, I'm always optimistic and I think it could be a great help, but we need to create a framework and sort of rules for it to make sure that
Definitely.
happens. Again, I think I love the continuous interest in well-being. And as I said, I think the sort of social aspect of well-being will come to light. So not only mental well-being or physical well-being, but social connection well-being. And then, of course, I hope that sustainability and, I guess, designing or innovating with the planet in mind, will keep being there, and we're going to see all the ways we can do it, from physical product sustainability to digital sustainability. So I hope these are things that have started many years ago. We were talking about sustainability in the 70s, but it's definitely becoming more and more present. So I hope this is going to be in the future.
Yes.
So yeah, I think these are my three things: AI, sustainability, and social well-being.
Sounds like a positive future. Yeah, I hope so. Because it has felt like it's been a bit of a dredge recently, but actually when you look at history, we've never had it. It's never been better.
Exactly. I know we all have our struggle, and it's great that we are aware of small and big threats to our civilization. But as you said, if you look at from an historical perspective, we are at a great moment. And that's why, we need to raise the bar high, and we need to really give ourselves high goals of like making sure that we respect the planet and design for the planet as much as we can, that we create a good framework for AI, and that we make sure that all humans are happy and socially active and not closed in a little bubble on a screen somewhere.
Sounds great. Sounds like a happy movie ending.
I also, I think I'm really positive.
I know, I am the same. I'm very optimistic.
Yeah.
I've always been that way. I can imagine you as a kid making inventions, drawing inventions and drawing. Did you draw factories, production lines? That's what I used to do. I was a bit weird.
My dad had a factory. So my dad had a mechanical factory, and my mom had a fashion shop, a clothes shop in Italy, of course. And so I mixed a lot of metal, I don't know, we call it trucioli, we call it in Italian. So like the milling machine that would mill metal, create those little curls of metal, or I would have like little metal pieces. So I would have metal pieces and fabric, and I would create all this invention. Lots of houses, I have to say, lots of like small houses, dens, floor plans, dolls' houses, but all sort of crazy things. Sometimes they had to stop me because those are actually very sharp. Of course, I was very lucky. So a lot of the factory workers would indulge me in creating small pieces. So I would come with a drawing and they would produce it for me. probably getting in trouble because they were like, not working on the job, but working on my little invention. But yeah, no, I was very lucky. I grew up with a massive laboratory, basically, 2 massive laboratory, and a lot of happy Italian workers, factory workers, very kind, that would give me their time and indulge my crazy ideas.
We got to get a taste of Italian life when we went to a wedding a couple of years ago, before the pandemic, actually. And it was just so nice seeing all the Italian families out in the streets, after sort of 8 o'clock, and people were dancing and they were sat chatting and eating ice cream, and the children were all playing like out pretty late until like 10 because it was warm. I was like, oh, why don't we have this in the UK? Do you miss it? Do you miss it at home? I was going to say, because every Italian person I know are like, oh, I miss it.
That's the only difficult part of being in the UK is not being in Italy. I think, in my experience, Italy is a wonderful place where to be on holiday or where to retire. It's quite hard to work or to do the work I'm doing right now there.
Exactly.
I haven't found a way. Like I met some wonderful people from the Triennale in Milan last month, because we have an exhibition at the Design Museum right now for 1 year. Is an exhibition that is an homage to Enzo Mari, which is the exhibition that is on right now at the Design Museum, and our space is in the sort of first gallery open to the public, and it's called Grazie Enzo. And there are a lot of wonderful design studios, London, UK-based design studios, and those are all our, there is a collection of contribution that were inspired by the work of Enzo Mari. Anyway, at the opening, I met all these people from the Triennale, the curators, wonderful people. And I told them, in 15 years of career, I think I've done conferences and workshops and projects probably in 40 countries in the world.
Wow.
And none in Italy.
Good grief.
And I was like, tell me, why is that? Why?
That's mad.
So I feel that, running an innovation company in Italy would be much harder and, bureaucratically, socially as a woman, and probably economically.
Interesting.
And so, that's what's keeping me here, the passion, the work passion, the love as well, potentially, but he would come to Italy. But again,
would, with a bit of persuasion.
We moved the studio abroad for a few summers. We went to Ibiza for a few summers.
Oh, lovely.
And now this year we're going to go to Sardinia. So I'm going to get my Italian fixed. So I try to compensate with good long holidays in Italy.
That's great. That's good to hear. I actually have Sardinia on my list next. I've never been.
Oh, yes.
Got to go.
Oh, yes.
It's supposed to be beautiful, and it's Italian, so come on.
Exactly.
What's better?
Exactly. The dolce vita.
Exactly. Just got to get my clothes right. Yeah. You do feel like you have to, maybe this is like, me delving too personally now, but you do feel like you have to get your outfits right when you go to Italy.
100%. I always I have a panic moment because I feel here in the UK, I come across as quite stylish, but in Italy, if you have a tiny stain, that's it. Yep. And so I'm like, no, this shirt, I can't, no, this is...
Hearing that from you makes me feel a lot better.
Oh, yeah. I have an Italy wardrobe that I pull out just when I go there. And with Adrian as well, with my husband, I'm like, no, this cannot go. No, we have to buy something new.
You're all so stylish. The wedding we went to, my God, this lady turned up on a bike in a black jumpsuit, sleeveless jumpsuit. She was slim, beautiful. You look after yourselves as well.
Well,
long hair all the way down the back. She was in her 50s. She looked incredible. She just got off the bike, sauntered over, got a glass of wine. I'm like, oh my God. And there I was in my kind of old M&S dress and some really ugly size 9 sandals, wide fitting, just feeling really kind of frumpy. Oh God, I've got to make an effort next time. But You know, I mean, it's fun. But I mean, you must work with quite a few young designers and innovators. What advice would you give to anyone listening to this who's not had the pleasure of working with you, who want to make a mark in the field of tech and design right now?
Oh, that's a very good question. So, yes, I work with a lot of wonderful people, and the studio is extremely international. We have Alexa is from Germany, John is from Portugal, Matteo is from Italy, Pearl is from the US, Will, that just joined, is from Taiwan. So it's a very, very beautiful environment, very international, and I get to know and grow lots of wonderful talents. What I would say to them, I guess, so I always tell, I always try and express the importance of the research. And of the methodology, because I feel that when you are freshly graduated, you feel you have infinite ideas and you're full of energy and probably have less life pressures. You never know now with all the loans they need to take, but
yes.
Let's say you have maybe more
fewer responsibilities.
Fewer responsibilities. Let's put it that way. So I always try and give them a methodology that they can refer back to for when those carefree days are not there, because I feel, that there will be a moment in your life in which you feel less creative than other. But if you have a clear methodology, then you will have something that helps you create ideas. So first, find a methodology that works for you and sort of try and be faithful to it. And then number two, research is very important, and spending time with the end user and understanding how to make things relevant is number one. Research, unfortunately, has a very bad reputation, and people think it's quite boring. So I always say, if you're not having fun, you're not working right. You're not working hard enough. So it's almost like if you apply your creative thinking also to the research methodology, then the research methodology will be fun. And then I guess see frustrations as opportunities, and they are all around you, all around us. So there is space for so many people to improve these words. Enzo Mari said, if you look out of the window, you don't like what you see, go out and fix it and make a mark.
Beautiful.
I guess I'll quote him on that, find the frustrations and fix them.
Perfect. I'm going to start thinking about that myself, actually. So you've had a wonderful career so far. I mean, what's been the most rewarding or maybe unexpected sort of aspect of working at this kind of, mix of design, technology, innovation?
That's a very good question. I have to say this year it's been, maybe because it's been a bit of a mark for us, it's been 10 years the Special Projects has been alive. I feel that it gave me three very rewarding moments. So being part of the Design Museum exhibition and being in the Design Museum, I remember the night of the opening party, literally there were all my idols, all the people I studied on books, and I was there with them at that, sort of opening party. And when you run your own business, there is no one that tells you well done. So you have to savor this moment and almost tell yourself well done. So I think being recognized for some of the work we have done in line with Enzo Mari's philosophy that is important to me was probably one moment. When we threw the party in the studio, we invited our sort of friends and family, and not even family, sorry. We just invited our work friends. We didn't even invite our friends. So it was all really work related. And 120 people made their way to Richmond, and we had this wonderful evening in which you could feel that people were there to support us because they love us, because they want Special Project to succeed. And it was a great, when you have a good feeling at a party, it's not like a party where people are just sort of gossiping behind each other, shoulders, but they are actually there to support. So that was wonderful to see that extended family that Special Projects has created. And And the third thing is the thing I cannot tell you about with the RCA, but stay tuned. I'll inform you. But also,
we'll have to be patient.
Yeah, and then, again, as I said, I'm really grateful to be able to come to work in a studio with amazing collaborators, with super interesting clients and projects. Like I guess I'm grateful of the journey. Apart from this moment that were a good celebration, I feel is the day-to-day, is the journey that has been incredible. I'm so grateful I be able to live for the past 10 years in this world of invention. So, yeah.
And I bet you feel like you're only just getting going.
Oh, yeah. I can go going forever. keep the frustrations coming. I'm here.
Well, if I think of any frustrations, Clara, you'll be the first to know.
Good. That's the idea.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been a fascinating conversation, and I'm sure our listeners will be very much wiser on this subject. I hope you carry on evolving and growing and learning and enjoying what you do, because it sounds fab.
Oh, thank you, Katie. It's like I loved all the questions, and it was you made me think and reflect. It's been a wonderful time. Thank you.
Fab. Thank you so much. If you'd like to find out more about today's episode, you can visit creativeboom.com/podcast and check out our show notes. Thanks again to our sponsor, MPB, the largest global platform for buying, selling and trading used photo and video kit. You can shop for all the used camera kit you need, sell your unwanted gear to MPB and get an instant quote, free shipping and fast payment. Just visit mpb.com. See you next time.